All right. This is Neville Boston. He's the founder and CSO of Reviver, digital license plate company, and the creator of the R plate. So, Neville, thanks for taking the time to chat with me, man, and tell us all about the R plate.
Sure. The R plate, what we've done is we looked at how to simplify the registration process. And if you think about it, it's the last thing on a vehicle that has not been updated. And it's the most important piece when it comes to compliance. Everybody sees it, whether you're in California, Alaska, somewhere in Europe or Africa, they all use a license plate as an identifier. So what we've done is that we've digitized that process. We've ruggedized, think about it like a ruggedized iPad, and we've enabled you to be able to connect to it over air. So what the digital plate is able to do is you're able to go into your app, update your registration. Also, we've just added a tolling feature where you can, have tolling capabilities all over the country. We're going to be looking to do that with digital titling as well and parking. So when you think about it, it's kind of a DMV in a box.
Sweet. Speaking of iPad, one thing, because I have an R plate, I love it. It's awesome. I try to promote it when I can.
You do a great job.
One thing that I love about it is, speaking of an iPad, is like what your product team has done aesthetically to that product is pretty amazing. It's very low profile, sits great on a vehicle. It's like a sexy design, if you will. I was gonna save this question for later on down the road, but I think it was a good segue of where it's at now. Are there other plans to iterate more on that, or did you guys reach that piece where it's like, this is it, man? Because as it stands, it's awesome, but are there?
Listen, if you ever stand on your laurels and say that you've made the perfect product, then you failed. There's always things that you can do to improve it. So we're looking at making it even thinner, and have it be even more. I mean, the contrast, you want the whites whiter, the blacks blacker. You want it all to be better. And then at some point, we're going to add in color. That has to do with, the type of technology that's out there. Our plate, as it stands right now, is automotive grade. So it goes from negative 40 degrees Celsius to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need to have that range. And right now, the color does not have that range. And so I think over time, we're going to have a color product out. We'll make it thinner, and we'll make it cheaper. I mean, it's all about constantly improving, tinkering, making the product better than it is now. Sweet. And I think ultimately it'll be built into the vehicle. So it'll be a streamlined process, and it's all about the services at that point.
Yeah, that was one of my other questions of if I looked out, 5-10 years or whatever down the road, maybe longer, maybe shorter than that, I don't know, but having it built in direct from the OEM. So if whatever you transfer this asset, this, whatever, renew it, anything, it's like changing out your iPhone or getting a new update, like it's already there.
Right.
And that just makes sense that OEMs would embrace that. Is that are there conversations? And you don't have to tell me, but I mean, if there's private conversations, but is that something you guys are looking at actively, or what's?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're having conversations, but the process is going to take time. If you're going to add anything to a vehicle, I mean, you're talking about a 5 to 7 year process just because of all the testing that has to go into it. So you just understand what that process is, but we're having those conversations now. We'll be launching a, partnership with Ford here soon, a licensing agreement with them. I mean, it's just one of the things that's really important for us is partnership. You don't have to build everything, but you've got to find really unique and streamlined partners to get your product out to more people, but add more richness to the services that you're offering.
So yeah, partnership is definitely even from a growth tactic, if we're just talking about straight business, it's, it's something. So what has been, I guess, a hurdle or a challenge or a blocker in getting this played out to everyone? Because around my neighborhood, I'm seeing a lot more. It's just now it's every time I look around, I see one. So it's awesome to see. But I'm like any company, that takes time. But what has been the what you thought would be easier but isn't when it comes to that?
Something. What I'm always in awe of is that we started the business in California, and we're getting a national presence now. But the biggest thing that always just blows my mind is that I think that we're doing a great job marketing. It's just the people that don't even know that the product exists. And so we've got to, increase our marketing to where, we have better visibility, that people actually see it and see it as a product that they may want to get. And it's all about, making sure that we do a better job of letting people know that we're here. I think that's the biggest thing. That's probably the most surprising thing for me, is that with all the press that we've gotten, with the various things that we've done, it's like who the audience that we need to speak to, we need to do a better job of getting to them.
Yeah, and I guess you have multiple audiences, because there's like consumers like myself that I'm like, I like it. Obviously, I'm like a DMV nerd too, so I'm like, I want this, I like this. And there's people that just want the new tech or the new thing that's out there.
Greatest anything, yeah, absolutely.
But what I think a lot of people don't understand is there's a business component to this as well. I know fleet is part of your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's consumers like myself, and then there's businesses. So what if you can break down the value that a digital license plate, the R plate, brings to fleets, that'd be helpful, just to know, like, hey, this isn't just a cool tool. This isn't like a toy. This is something that will help save you money, streamline things, blah, blah, all that.
Okay, so the biggest thing for a fleet that you have is the ability to get that product on the road. And I think what our plate does for them is to make sure that that vehicle is in compliance. So you're able to see at a glance through our Connect exactly when that vehicle registration is due and any other thing that needs to be done on the vehicle. So you have a digital plate. You don't have to worry about stickers, being put on vehicles anymore. You can update that. But from a fleet perspective, you can also track where the vehicle is going, because it has GPS and an accelerometer in the plate. So you can geofence a particular area of where you are at a particular work site, or if you're traveling at a particular speed, all of that data and information is tied into the plate and the platform. So from a business standpoint, it makes complete sense, because one, you don't ever have to worry about your vehicle not being in compliance. Two, you'll know where your vehicle is and how the vehicle is being driven. And then the third thing is that if there's particular messaging about the plate that you need, or if there's services, you can actually have that messaging on the plate as well. So it opens up a myriad of benefits to a fleet owner to help streamline and get a better visibility on their fleet, and have basically a richer experience.
Yeah, because from what I know, working alongside fleet companies, like if that vehicle is out of commission for an extra day, they're losing money. So even with me, with my car and the R plate I have, I was able to renew my vehicle registration, right? And you don't have to wait the 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So if there's so many people, at least California, I don't know the exact statistics in California, but it was something crazy where majority of the people, there's a high percentage that wait to the last minute to renew, right? For whatever reason, or they go over, they got to pay penalties or run around with the expired tag. So it was crazy to see, like, press renew, do the Reviver app, and then it automatically updates. I see the change from 2022 to 2023. And so for fleets, I can see that, because just the time it takes to ship out new plates, new stickers, whatever, that could be a down vehicle for a week or 2 weeks or more, if not, played out properly. So when it comes to what the future of title and reg looks like, I think you guys are the closest of like pushing that. I interviewed Shane from Champ a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
and they're doing really cool things, from a blockchain perspective and how quickly you can turn a title and transact that way. But from a innovation, from the other side with Reviver, from an innovation standpoint, it was like, if I fast forward 10 years from now, it's gonna be like, yeah, no, of course the license plate's gonna be digital. Like, remember when we used to use the metal one? Like, it's crazy. So what's the next like big wave for you guys, or what are you most excited about, if you look at 20 years down the road or 10 years down the road?
Yeah, something. One, I want to make it ubiquitous. I want it to be like, when you think about a digital plate, think about it like going from a flip phone to a smartphone. I think about all the different services, payments, and all the things that you could build into a platform like that. That's what we want to be. We want to be able to streamline, when you're talking about vehicle miles traveled, have that and support that on the platform. When you're talking about, being able to register a vehicle, I'm moving from California to Texas, never have to go to the DMV to do the registration. You can do it automatically, and it's streamlined. And you don't have to send out a plate, because you can download that image to the plate and you're done. So think about just how you live your life nowadays. You don't go to a bank, you go to your app, you send money from your app. You don't go and send in a check to pay your credit card. You go to the app and you pay it through, the application. If you want to get on social media, that's what you do as well. I would dare to say that you spend more time on your phone looking at email than you do at your computer. So when you start thinking about how you live your life today, is that this transition makes total sense, because then you have all of those things there. So you want it to become a virtual wallet, kind of a virtual glove box. All the information and data is stored in one place, and it's easy for you to see and transact. And then you get partnerships with, folks like Yassi to help streamline, things that you need to have done. So whether it be, doing registrations, you partner with them to be able to get better usage, better coverage faster.
Yeah. So that actually brings up a good point, like the scenario where if you move states. So right now, I think I remember reading, if you can have a Reviver plate and drive around anywhere throughout the U.S. It's not
Absolutely.
it's not illegal, right? So I think that was like a misconception I think I had.
No, it's legal. It's legal like any plate. If you've got a California plate and you're driving to New York, you're on vacation, you can drive your digital California plate from California to New York. It's legal in any state that it's in.
Cool.
So what's different is the registration aspect of it. Can you register it in that particular state?
Right.
Like if you were going to go move to New York, are we in New York yet? No, we're not. Will we be introducing legislation this year? Yes, we will. So I mean, do we have legislation going in New Jersey? Yes, we do. Like, it's just like, it's all the process that's happening.
Yeah. So I guess that comes down to two of the interoperability, I guess, of the states and how they talk to each other. Well, I guess not. I guess it wouldn't affect you because you guys can handle that title transfer, theoretically behind the scenes, and then it would just upload. If you went from one state to another state, that's legislatively okay, like Arizona and California.
Yep.
Is it technically possible today to move to Arizona? If I move to Arizona, to upload a new Arizona license plate?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, that's sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah. Texas for commercial fleets. Yes. Michigan for, any vehicle. Yes. We're getting ready to, be working in Illinois and Georgia and Colorado. So yeah, all of those things. Once we're actually connected to the DMV or Department of Revenue or Secretary of State, depending on the state that you're in, then you're able to, make that happen. And that's what I think when I see the next iteration of the business is that seamless transition in movement, because we've become a transient society. We're not always in one place. Like, 50 years ago, if you were from Ohio, you stayed in Ohio. You didn't really move anywhere. Now you could be anywhere. I mean, I could be on a flight, and in 5 hours, depending on what direction I go in, I could be in Canada, I could be down in Mexico, I could be in Hawaii, or I could be, in New York. All of those places I can touch in that time frame. And if you think about that, several years back, that wasn't a possibility.
Yeah, and I think it's also once you get a taste of it, once you experience it for the first time, like for me, when renewing my registration with Reviver and updating my plate, I was like, this is dumb. And I've been in the DMV registration world for years, right? And I'm like, I will never go back to like.
No, what do you understand, dude?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And you're scoring the plate?
Yeah, forget about it. No, that is once it's like boop updated, you're like, oh my gosh, this is this is a no-brainer. It's the future. I was super pumped to be able to talk to you. One, just because I'm a fan of the company. Two, because I think you guys have been ahead of your time, and I think people are starting to see that.
Right now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, man. I think COVID, as horrible as it was for so many people, did us a huge favor, because what it did is that it actually made people come to a realization that we can't continue to do what we're doing. We've got to change what we're doing. And, the issues that you run into is all tied to the fact like, oh, it's, we've been operating under this assumption. And the question is why? We can change that assumption.
Yeah.
We can make these changes. And I mean, and it's the same thing. Like when you had a flip phone, the things that you did where you talked to people and you really texted, but it was really, really rudimentary, really difficult. But with a smartphone, you text, you're on social media, you check emails, you pay your bills. Like you do all of these things that you couldn't do before. You take pictures. Well, think about that. You don't even carry a camera anymore. People used to, have the big camera, you go out, but you take pictures on your phone, you videos, all of the things that you didn't think were all going to be embedded in one thing is what this is. And when I think about a digital plate, it just opens up a million different opportunities for you to communicate that you couldn't do before.
It's so funny because me and a couple of my buddies, we get together every once in a while and just jam, get some guitars together, play some music. And back in like my college years, we were in a band, and to record an album, to record some songs, it was a huge investment. It was a lot of big equipment. It was, you had to have like a PhD almost to be a sound engineer. Like it was a lot. And so, but the last couple of times we've got together, we downloaded a recording app. We had a little module to plug into, and we basically recorded straight to the phone. That was it. And it sounded great. I mean, it's not like super high quality, but I don't know. It's funny because it was like this little phone, this thing right here can do pretty much anything that you need to do.
Anything, man. It has enough compute power. It has more compute power than the computers they use to send the initial spacecraft to the moon. So just think about that for a minute.
Yeah. So, hey, with government, so you brought up COVID, and I witnessed that. I witnessed the same thing you did, where there was more state agencies that were like, uh-oh, or like, hey, we need to take this opportunity to revamp, how we do things and how to make things more web accessible to consumers and things like that. So I saw the same thing that you did. When it comes to working with these state agencies, I'm sure it varies depending on the state because we get the fluctuation as well as a provider. But for the most part, are they eager and open, or there's still some that are like, what is this crazy new thing? This is, this metal plate is is tried and true. We don't want to deal with anything else. What's your,
I gotta
without
be honest,
alienating any
I've been so surprised by how open these states have been.
Yeah.
I think what it is that they realize that they've been doing things inefficiently and they're open to actually changing. And I think a lot of it has to do with COVID. I don't think I think when you're forced to think outside of the box based on, a tragedy happening, nobody thought this thing would shut the world down for effectively 2 years, but it did. And like everything that you wanted to do, you couldn't do. And it's funny, I was at an event in Silicon Valley, and they were like, "This is the first time we've gotten together in 3 years." And when I thought about it, I was like, "You're absolutely right."
Wow.
2020, everything was shut down. 2021, still shut down. It's going into 22 that things started to open up, and now 23 is a year that I can say like they've crossed the Rubicon, and now things start to seem like it's more normal. But people are still wearing masks. People are still like, all of the things, are still there because the scar tissue is still there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of bad stuff that came along with COVID, but from a digital transformation, I think it was important across all bit, because even like, we can get into, I'm sure, like, you got to come to the office or work remote and that whole thing. People realized how efficient you can be, across multiple levels, whether it's government or just businesses. So, I'm definitely more excited and pumped about, this is like very nerdy, but excited and pumped about title and registration, about the future, and I agree with you, working with these states, they're people. They're just people. They're not like this big scary government that, they're slow. It's like the sloth from that movie. These are people that want to make things better. And so for the most part, across the board, it's been nice working with them because they want to do it. It's just figuring out how to make it make sense. So last thing, Neville, how do people buy the plate? If you're like a fleet business, you can just go to the website, I'm assuming, sign up for like a meeting. But if you're a consumer, can you just go and buy one online, or do you have to go through a dealer?
Yeah, go get them online, www.reviver.com, and it's spelled Reviver, the same way forward as it is backwards. And then in addition to that, we're in over 250 dealerships. We've got partnerships with Lithia and AutoNation, and many more to come. So you can go there. We also partnered early with Galpin. Huge fans of those guys. They've been one of the first adopters of the technology. So no, man, it's exciting. It's exciting times.
Awesome.
The Future Group and also the Hansel Group, near and dear.
Oh yeah. Our office is based in Santa Rosa, and then with the previous company, we're based in Petaluma. So yeah, we're close to Hansel and Future. Yeah, all those guys. So awesome. Appreciate it, Neville. Thank you for taking the time. And I'm excited about what's coming next.
Absolutely, my friend. Anytime.
Cool. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.